3, 2, 1.
Hello, one and all. Welcome to Chux'd Advice, the show where I, your host, Joseph Padilla, provide some advice for you. Some people need advice, and I have been put in this seat because Jordan and other people thought I had enough wisdom to be here. So, let's get the show rolling. You guys got any questions or no?
I like Morgan's.
Why are you a whore?
Why am I a whore? Well, you know what they say.
Advice, though? Yeah.
I want to know.
It's a question.
What are you going to do with this
Advice.
information?
What advice do you have for sleeping around?
Sleeping around. Well, I heard from this psychiatrist guy, his name's Alo Kanoja, that when you're addicted to something, he related it to this Buddhist thought of being in the realm of hungry ghosts, and that comes from Buddhism. In Buddhism, they believe between Earth and Hell, there's the realm of hungry ghosts, where ghosts are just running around eating everything and they're never full. So he saw in every addict that they were hungry for something that they could never fill because the things they were eating weren't addressing the thing they were hungry for. So he was dealing with, like, say, porn addicts, and it's closely linked to sleeping around, I would think. I don't sleep around, so I don't know. But think, okay, I need to sleep around with all these people. This thing I had with the other person I was sleeping with didn't work out, so I'm gonna go look for the next one. And then, that didn't work out, so you gotta go do it again. What feeling do you feel in here makes you go out to go sleep with someone, random? How do you feel when you're with that person? How do you feel afterwards? Now, I'm not in the situation, and if someone else is in there, there's a lot of things I don't know about them to, address that situation accurately. And if it's something you're fine with, not something you gotta fix. But if it causes problems, then it is a problem, right? So, look back at yourself, think, what am I really trying to do with this action I'm doing? Why do I need to do this? And, how is it all working together? It's like if my body's hungry for nutrients, like vitamin D and vitamin C, and all I eat are donuts, like, there's a problem there, right? So, there's this meme I showed to Jordan not too long ago. You guys all know who Jordan is.
Hi.
Yeah, so, it was a meme of, Tom from Tom and Jerry holding a rifle, and he was like, and the caption next to it was, when you're watching porn, and then the rifle goes limp, and then he's panicking at it. I was like, oh my god. And then the caption next to that is, but then you realize all you want is some love. So, that's the best I can do. So, yes.
Follow up. How do you think society should deal with themselves?
Well, society at large. If I were to address the things that society should do, you gotta recognize that's a lot of people. Society is people's parents, it's people's teachers, it's employers. Society are the guys at the grocery store selling you shit. Society is the people.
Our audience, then.
Our audience.
How should our audience handle simps?
Simps and incels.
And incels.
Doing the same thing.
Okay.
Okay, what's the difference?
Incel is someone... Okay. So, incel means involuntary celibate. That's what it's short for, right?
Yeah.
Am I right or wrong? Okay.
Yeah, you're right.
Right. So, some people that felt that the world was keeping them behind in terms of, like, getting laid, is like, oh man, I'm a celibate and I don't want to be. And then the worst of those people started to stew and ferment in the internet. And then they started to get really vocal. And then, like, all of that nastiness just shimmered up to the top, like a lipid or something. And a lot of us look at that and it's like, oh my god, that's an incel. It's so terrible. This fucker drives trucks into crowds of people. And, those people are fucked up and bad, I'm not disagreeing with that part. However, there are people who are much more calmer and gentler who, didn't get proper guidance in how to connect with women, let alone their general people their age. and they weren't treated with all that much respect, and they grew up lonely, and they didn't really have that kind of friendship or connection with anyone that made them feel important enough to get out of their damn bedroom away from their video games. Because when they accomplished in their video games, it was like, hey, at least I'm good at this, right? So then someone like that comes of age, and of course they want affection and attention in themselves, but they try to go out and get it, but they don't know how, because they don't have the tools. They weren't raised with that. So then they go on the internet and they talk with people like them, and that's when they get in danger of getting indoctrinated by these crazy idiots. But a lot of them who are so calm and quiet, they don't say anything, they get branded but with this incel term, and society might look at them harshly more than they deserve. So if you know someone who is in social interactions and they're not doing so well, and you know what kind of past they had, doesn't mean they're evil, doesn't mean they're a bad person. You could just let them know, like, hey, do you want to be more social with other people? Do you want affection? Okay, then let them know how to do that. And of course it's going to be different with everyone. However, what tends to work for everybody is physical exercise, not even as much as for the physical benefit, although that's there, but also for benefit for your mental health.
Good stuff.
Yeah, Trey?
Yeah, I was gonna say, what advice can you give to, I guess, the fear of, not living up to your full potential? Sorry, I kind of gave you a hard hit.
No, you gave me a good thing because I live there.
Exactly.
You know that scene from that Batman movie when he's in that big pit and then Bane said, "You are trapped here. I grew up here," or something like that.
Something along those lines,
Yeah. So not living up to your potential. So the thing about potential is things that haven't happened yet and things that can happen. So say, and this is how I learned about it in physics class, potential energy is energy that can happen. So if I have a cart that's going up a hill, and then but it's going slow, and it gets to the top of the hill and it's at the apex, but it's not going anywhere yet, the potential energy is at its maximum, right? But then once it falls over and then it starts moving, it's all kinetic energy, and there's not really any potential energy. It all goes away. So if you feel like you have a lot of potential, but you're not doing anything with it, and you just kind of sit there, it's because it's not kinetic yet. Try cooking something, or doing more, or literally moving, running. That's
You said about physical exercise.
what I do in the morning. Your body will send you adrenaline and endorphins, and sure, granted, you might not have your life figured out, you might be stressed about the future, you might be worried about what you're going to do, you might worry about being a failure, but when that adrenaline sprays out into your body, and you'll feel it back here, you'll feel like you're on top of the world. And then if you keep doing that enough, then it's going to help declutter your brain, kind of like meditation does, but in a different way. So then you go out throughout your day, and then you do the things you have to do. It's like the saying, if you do what you have to do every day, you don't have to worry about the future. Because dude, the future doesn't exist. We could all have heart attacks right now at the same time and just fucking go, right? So there's another thing I was told in my graduation by the person giving the commensurary speech. How we spend our days is how we spend our lives. So when people think, oh, I want to be an investment banker, oh, I want to be an accountant, I want to be a physicist, I want to be a doctor. Well, you gotta think, what does a physicist do all day? What does a doctor do all day? What does a carpenter do all day? Maybe you like to cut wood and you really like it, but it doesn't pay as much as a banker, right? Now, banker will give you more money, or would you rather cut wood all day? The banker would probably pay money so he can go to a shop and cut wood. But if you're a carpenter, you already have that. And the thing about that is also, money is a tool to live life. It's not an end in and of itself. So I don't think you should worry about that. You should only worry about earning enough so that you don't have to worry about eating, And once you're not worried about eating, it's like, oh my God, where's my next meal gonna come from? You don't care about potential then. You care about, staying alive. So once you got that handled, then he's like, okay, I can eat. Now what am I gonna do with the time I have left? How am I gonna spend my day? What's my life gonna look like if I spend my days that way? And then we'll just look at what you need and just get rid of shit you don't need. And I think we were raised from when we were little kids. It's like, oh, literally, you remember being asked, what do you want to be when you grew up? And everyone said these things that were grand. And then you saw these stars on TV. And then you saw Superman in comic books. And you saw all these crazy artists that you wanted to be like, right? But they didn't get there by thinking about potential and thinking they were going to live up to it. They got there by turning it into kinetic energy. They just did shit, right? So if you just do shit, one day someone's going to look up at you and want to be like you. So, without going up any further, that's what I got.
Alright, and then I have a follow-up, if that's cool. And kind of I guess the opposite of that previous question where it's just, can you speak on peaking too early?
Yes, I can.
Yeah, because that's something I think I would say some people probably experience, whether that's through high school or college or whatever, just the idea that things aren't gonna be as good as this moment right here, kind of thing. Where it's people often look at high school as the what's it called, the glory days or something like that. Where it's and then everything kind of went downhill from there, and I'm just oftentimes when I hear that, I'm just that sounds horrible, just because how does 4 years literally one of the smallest sort of time frames of your life, how do these 4 short ass years translate to the best moments?
Okay, yeah. So peaking too early, the problem I think runs deeper than actually peaking early, and it runs down to that person's psychiatry, or how their brain works inside. Because if you think of someone who did not peak too early, and they're in their 50s and they're running and pushing and they're living a good life, that idea of peaking isn't in their brain, because they're worried on something more important. They're probably worried about something bigger than themselves. Probably a house that they earned, or a family they support, or a business they made, or a business they helped make. Or they're more worried about their kids, or they're worried about the impact their job is. And then if you're involved enough in that, then you don't really worry about peaking, because you have something that you need to do. And I figured out a lot of people feel that way about a time when they were in school. And think, what's school? It's a place you go so you can learn shit. So if you stop going to school, you might stop learning shit. So then, what if you started learning shit again? You would be so focused on all the cool things you were learning and all the fun challenges, and maybe they're not fun, maybe they're really frustrating, but nonetheless, you're so engaged, you forget all this peaking bullshit. So if that's something you're struggling with, hey, I have HEMA, right? So yeah, I might have peaked in art school, but I'm getting better at hitting people with swords. Or today, usually when I'm running laps in the morning, I'll run one, and then I'll take a break, have some water, and then run the other one. But today I just did both back to back. So I didn't peak there. Okay, so before the break, I was talking about how my dad, he makes pizza for Pepe's in New Haven. You can look that up if you don't know about it. Well, if you're watching, you probably do. So he's at the apex of Connecticut pizza, right? And now he's on the stocks. He talked to me about the stocks, and then I learned about it from him. And he put in a couple grand, and he's making so much more money on top of it. And he's just studying and learning. And my dad doesn't ever worry about peaking. It's just, he just finds the next thing to do. So if you feel like you conquered one thing, do the other one. Okay, there's this guy named UB Iwerks, and he was the guy who animated the first few Mickey Mouse cartoons, okay? So this guy would pump out like 600 drawings of animation a night. And when I was taking animation classes in school, I would pray to him for strength. And but he was a master at animations. But at one time, he got tired of it. The guy took up archery. And then at one point, he's like started to study like machinery and cars, and he mastered that. So if you feel like you peaked in one thing like art, find something else.
Alright. Joe, you wanna end it out?
Yeah, basically, it feels like everything I said today was common sense. Ever since I was just listening to stuff on the internet, like through all these years about like random advice, eventually I found out that it was just people saying the same thing, and eventually, if you're watching this, you probably have all the information you need too, like, hey, exercise, eat right, get good sleep, set your boundaries, stick to them, and be honest to yourself, be honest. Honestly, if you do all those things, I don't care if you're a salmon fisher or a farmer or if you juggle for a living, you're gonna be fine. And be financially smart, research. It's like it's the internet age. You know how to research these things. So, yeah, that's about it.
Alright. Ladies and gentlemen, that has been Chux'd Advice.